Merry Christmas from R&B Reviews. I'm Rob, and in many families it's a tradition on Christmas to gather the whole family together, open presents, and eat together, and many other things. But another common tradition is watching a movie that's either playing on TV or from your own movie collection. So what I decided to do is I decided to create a sort of like a holiday video guide. If you're tired of watching the same movies every year and you're looking for TV specials and you're looking for something different for this year, perhaps there might be some suggestions you might like. So let's start with like with this. If you're live in a type of family that loves watching movies about Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, and you're looking for something a different version this year, there's this new version that came out with Jim Carrey that came out actually last winter. Of Christmas Carol, and it came from Walt Disney Pictures. It just came out on DVD in November, and I gotta say I really liked the movie when it first came out in theaters. And this was one of the first versions of Christmas Carol that I can think of where I watched it in a movie theater and I really got scared. I think it faithfully captures the mood of the story and the feel of the period. The only thing I really didn't like about this version is sometimes it kind of strays away from the story. Like there's a scene where Scrooge shrinks and he is getting chased by this carriage, and there's another scene near the end of the past segment where he's kind of like flying through the skies and all this other stuff. This was done obviously because it was released in movie theaters in 3D, and it probably had a very good effect on the audience back then, but now that it's on DVD it's probably not the same thing. But overall I think it's a very nice adaptation of the story. But if you want a live-action version that's also very faithful to Charles Dickens' book, there's the Alistair Sim 1951 version that pretty much everybody thinks is a classic for many different reasons. For example, the film explores Scrooge's past a little bit more. It does add some scenes that aren't in the book, which some people may see as a plus or a negative depending on who you are. But of all the versions, the reason why I like this one personally is it's like the actors are thinking as the characters are thinking their lines. There's a lot of different versions of Christmas Carol, like that recent Kelsey Grammer version and on occasion Muppet Christmas Carol, where they say lines like, "If I could work my will, I bury with a stake of holly through this heart." Traditional lines you would hear in Christmas Carol. After a while, they say the same thing over and over again, and they don't have the feeling because we're all familiar with it. But in this version, it's like the characters are actually thinking and believing their lines. Like Alistair Sim's talking about how he hates Christmas and all that. It feels more authentic than some other versions, and I think that's a good plus to that. And finally, if another Christmas Carol I would recommend is the Muppet Christmas Carol with Michael Caine. It is a fun film. It's family oriented, so if you have a family where it's like with little kids running around, this would be something good for them. It mixes the laughs with the scares. There's some very good acting from everybody, especially from Michael Caine, especially in a later scene in the famous graveyard scene in the future segment. That was really good acting there. And there's some very good songs too, like "Bless Us Everyone." They're memorable and they got a good melody to them. And it's a movie you can really have fun with and enjoy very much. But if you're one of those people that like to watch religious Christmas movies, I recommend the Bells of St. Mary starring Bing Crosby. I reviewed this movie about a week ago. If you want to watch the review for it, you can. But this movie features Bing Crosby as a priest who's assigned to a Catholic school, which is about to be condemned, and the nuns who run the school don't know what they're going to do about it. And it's a dramatic movie. It does also have some very warm moments, and I think it has a lot of memorable ones too. Like for example, there's a scene where a nun is teaching a kid how to fight. Can you imagine Ingrid Bergman dressed up as a nun teaching a kid how to fight in her outfit? It's good stuff. And of course, there's a Christmas pageant in this movie where little kids try to tell the story of Christmas, which is very cute too. And of course, for me, what also stuck out is the town Scrooge in this film. He's played by Henry Travers from It's a Wonderful Life. He played Clarence the Angel. Here he's the town Scrooge who wants to tear down the school, and he's building a big new building next door. I don't think he knows what he's going to do with it yet, and he just wants the old school. He wants to tear it down and put a parking lot there. You know, he does, and plus, this movie has a lot of good themes. There are some religious themes. There's also themes of taking something old and making it new, and, you know, people go through some transformations in this movie. So I think it's a very good movie. People consider this a Christmas movie, even though there's only one scene that deals with Christmas, but I think it's definitely a nice picture. There, of course, here's another classic, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now, this is a fine adaptation of Dr. Seuss's book. It mixes some very good gags with the story, and of course, Boris Karloff is the narrator here, and he also plays the Grinch, and he does a very good job too. The songs like Mean One, Mr. Grinch really add to the story. It really complements the picture very well. It doesn't slow things down. But if you're one of those families that like to watch fantasy films on Christmas, then I recommend a couple ideas. There's first off, there's Gremlins from 1984. Now this movie to me is very, very unforgettable because of Gizmo the gremlin, of course, because he's cute, and of course, well, actually Gizmo's a mogwai in this film. He's not a gremlin. Actually, in this movie, a guy named Rand Peltzer is trying to find a gift for his son Billy, and he gets a mogwai Gizmo, and he's told three things. Don't feed them after midnight, keep them away from water, and of course keep them away from sunlight. Those are the three rules, and those are of course something that everybody who's seen Gremlins probably remembers. And because if you don't follow those rules, it creates these other mogwais that turn into gremlins, and they cause all this kind of mischief in the film, and they're very memorable stuff. There's some very good, tense, scary moments coupled with some very funny bits, like when the gremlins take over a bar and a movie theater, and of course the last act of the movie where Billy and Gizmo go into a closed store looking for their leader, the Gremlins leader Stripe. It mixes some good tense moments with a couple of funny bits here and there. So this is a very, very good movie to check out for if you like fantasy films. And finally, if you like watching comedies every Christmas and you've seen Christmas Story and Home Alone and you're looking for something different, I recommend the 1951 film The Lemon Drop Kid from America's Great Entertainer, Bob Hope. In this film, he plays a guy in Florida who tells people he gives them false information on which horses to bet at the racetrack. Unfortunately, one person he gives the information to is a girlfriend of a big mobster, and when the horse loses, he has to come up with the money that the gangster lost, or his head is going to end up in his own Christmas stocking. This movie is full of Bob Hope's trademark one-liners. It's a very, very funny movie. It's one of his funniest comedies. I think people may find Hope's characters to be a bit selfish, vain, or sometimes bossy from time to time, but I think it's a very good picture to look into. There really isn't any memorable songs except for Silver Bells. I think that song was written for this movie and you hear it every year anyway, but other than that, the songs really aren't that memorable. I kind of enjoyed the beginning of the film, maybe a little bit more because I thought that it had better gags and better jokes. Okay, so that's it for my holiday video guide. These are some recommendations for movies if you're looking for something to watch with your families, or if you're looking for something to watch just during this week in general. So go ahead and leave your comments about this video, and also go ahead and you guys tell me what movies you like to watch during the holidays. Post them right here. I really want to know what kind of movies you enjoy watching around Christmas time, so go ahead and do that too. So thank you very much for watching this video and taking the time, and if you end up seeing any of these movies, go ahead and tell me what you thought of them. I really want to know. I really do. So thank you very, very much for watching, and Merry Christmas, and you guys take care now.